Ahora sí, ahí va. Hello, everyone. How's it going? It's Daniel here, of course. As you can see, I'm wearing all my Sideshow suit. I'm ready for tonight event. We have a lot to discuss, but in the meantime, I'm just going to take a look to the chat to see if we are online, if you can hear me. Hola, people. Hola, todos. Can you hear me well? Se escucha? Well, as you know, we are going to count with a lot of. Oh, it's in English. Yes, it's in English. One. It's going to be in English and in Spanish at the same time, or kind of Spanglish. So don't worry. Uh, we're going to be showcasing Batgirl, the premium format that is just ready for pre-order. I have a special guest with me tonight. Is a friend of mine who he doesn't want to be called the comic guru, but to me is the comic guru. But that's something for later. I will just, yeah. How's it going, people? For everywhere. Yes, yes, yes. It's going Spanglish all the way. ¿Cómo andan, amigos? That's good. So you can hear me well. Cloud, okay, for those who doesn't know the dynamic of my live streamings, on Thursday we do a live streaming with my friend, and actually he's a sideshow artist too. His name is Claudio Abraham. But tonight he's not going to be here because he's celebrating his girlfriend birthday. So we're going to say lots of love to Cynthia, beso grande, feliz cumpleaños, happy birthday. So, well, I think we are 100 people. Well, that's good. That's good. If you want to share this live, please share it. As I told you before, I'm going to talk in English, in Spanish. We're going to be answering questions. We're going to be talking, chatting about Butker and some technical aspect about the statue I sculpted. I'm going to, of course, mention all the people involved in this wonderful project. And of course, thank you so much, Sideshow, for letting me show the 3D file. Yesterday, I was chosen by the community as their favorite sculptor for the Batman statue collector and the Batsy Awards. And I sent a little video just saying thank you, and I make this kind of reveal, 3D reveal. I don't know how to call it, but it was awesome. People really liked the way I presented the statue. I just say a couple of words about some, let's say, artistic path I took for the designing of this piece, and it was really nice. And tonight, I have the honor and the opportunity to show in real time the 3D file. So I'm so excited. I'm really, really excited. So let me. I think we can, yeah, we can go and we can start with these. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you so much to the people there. Yeah, I have my partner here. Is an amazing partner. Just my little girl, Nina, and kisses to Nina, Mandy, and my wife. They are there in the couch. Just I don't know. Maybe they are watching me, or they watching I don't know, a Netflix shows or something like that. But she just put this my assistant here, Mrs. Spidey. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, let me check if everything is good. Okay, here people is asking. I wonder. Yeah, Dynafest. I'm going to talk about Dynafest afterwards. So yeah, don't worry. Well, guys, let me introduce you to my dear friend Federico. Fede. Fede, how's it going, my friend? Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How's it going, Fede? You doing good?
Everything well. You?
I'm doing great, man. It's a great opportunity here to display, the work we have done on this piece. And Fede always is a guy who I can just send a message saying, "Hey, Fede, I have some questions about this character or that character or whatever." And he's like, to me, he's like a Bible of the comics, and he knows a lot of things. And I
Not
just
really,
want
but
to
thank
invite
you
him.
anyway.
Dude,
Just glad to
dude.
help.
So let's start with this sideshow, going to the sideshow side. And of course, if you don't know people, this, let me pull up this here. Batgirl is ready for pre-order, right? And I just want to talk about this beautiful picture just a little bit, and then we're going to jump into the 3D file and answer questions. If you see any questions, Fede, that you want to like to jump on it, just let me know, and that's fine because I have
Okay.
I'm not seeing the question right now, so but I pull it up later. And anyway, these photos are taken for the amazing photo studio at Sideshow and Janet Villarreal, which is an amazing photographer, and all her team is awesome. And I'm always glad to participate. I've been involved with the photo shooting as well. I saw this the Batgirl piece when I went to Sideshow a couple of weeks ago, and I honestly, when you saw in person something you have been sculpting and working for so long in the monitor, and then you have the chance to see it in person, it changes a lot the way what you feel about the statue when you see it in person. So that's kind of cool. Um, but anyway, let's take a look of this gallery. It went up today for the pre-order, and there are many things we want to talk about with Fed about her. This is particularly one of the best angles of her. I don't know why I like it this so much. Maybe yeah, some angles are the best, like in every statue.
It's really a work
Uh,
of art.
was that?
That's really, in my opinion, a work of art.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, it took me. It's a very special statue for me, not because um, well, I would say that for quite long people were asking me to sculpt a female and a monster, and I remember, I remember one day the one guy, I can't remember his name, but he said, okay, to be a sculptor, a good sculptor, you have to sculpt a male, a female, a creature, and a robot. So the only thing left for me is a robot, I think, because in this piece you can see a monster and a female. So this is two from one shot. But anyway, the first time I saw these pictures, it's like they put a lot of emphasis. I want to talk about the. I would like to highlight the work of Chi, the painter here. She was awesome. I mean, she just bring a couple things that I didn't think I wasn't thinking when I was sculpting her or just painted. Because as you know, we paint. Sometimes we make something that is called poly paint, which is just painting in ZBrush, and but then she made these little details of some dirt and and different colors in different places and mud and all the damage. It's really cool. It's really really cool.
I love the battle damage.
With
Not
battle
many
damage.
statues with battle damage, so it's
That's true.
appreciated.
Yes, that's true, man. Yeah, we had the chance to say, okay, we can make her looks like a, like if the suit was brand new, or, I mean, she was fighting with this monster, so she be should have some battle damage, right? And
Yeah,
this
she
is,
should. Right?
yeah, she should, and this is something like I don't know, like a hint, an Easter egg, let's say, Easter egg. I don't know if you're seeing the monitor the screen, Fede, but I'm just, you will have a delay, but I'm just showing these two faces of Batman and Gordon. But there is
Yeah.
another more. There's another more that people didn't realize when I show this the 3D last night. But let me this one. Could you recognize who is this guy, Fede? I don't. You're going to see
We have Gordon, Batman, and I can't see the. There's a third person there.
It's a third person there. You have to turn your head.
I have.
Something like
I
this.
do delay.
Yeah, you will
Let me
see it.
see.
You will see it. You will see it. It's a third person in the other side of the, let's say, the left side. There are three people there, and there is a connection, and there is a why. There are these three characters there. Well, you will see better when. Let me. No, I don't know if this is a better picture. I will show you. I'm not going to say anything, but I will show you in the 3D file. I just leave it there. I just leave it there. In the meantime, let me check if there is any questions or anything. Thank you, man. Can't wait for this pre-order ready message.
I need to see the statue in person. Can you send me a copy?
Well, I need my copy first. Let me. What I press here.
Well, Clayface likes to play those psychological games, shape-shifting into people you love in order to play with your mind.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a point of what reference or what inspiration I took for this. It was the. Do you remember when in Terminator? I think it was a Terminator 2. Yeah, you have the 2000. It was a T1000 in English too.
Yeah.
T1000. T1000.
Yeah.
And he was melting.
Great actor.
Yeah, he was melting in the lava. It wasn't lava. It was like a iron melted iron, something like that.
Molten, yeah.
Yeah, multi-item. And then he was just he was agonizing, and then he was like a shape-shifting to all the people who turned in the past. And that was awesome. I mean, that was a great reference to me, because in this statue he's defeated, he's agonizing too, so he's like the last breath, let's say. And that was a kind of,
that's what makes it really scary, like transforming into anybody.
Yeah,
it could be anybody.
Could be anybody. That's the danger. That's the danger. But anyway, let me talk about a little bit of the artists involved here in this statue. And I have to a big shout out to Reach Along. And it's not here, but also Ian McDonald. Both, they helped me a lot in terms of they guide me a lot, because it was my first female, and I wanted to be. I will not say as good as these guys, but I just want to be at least to fulfill the expectations that people will have. We have Will Harbottle, we have Steve Lord, we have Schumacher, and those guys, they are masters of the female anatomy and female statues. So Richard and Ian, they helped me a lot through the process. And actually, I don't know if Richard's going to be able to show his concept of Batgirl, but I remember when I saw the concept, a couple years ago, I said, if I ever do a female statue, I want to do that one, And then he talked with people at Sideshow, and they say Danny wants to make a female. What if we just save this for him? But
there's a fierceness in the look, like the eyes.
Yeah,
so fierce.
Yeah. That was the idea, to look kind of sexy and fierce and like a warrior.
She reminds me a bit of Michelle Pfeiffer, like when she made in Batman Returns.
Yeah,
the eyes.
Yeah, that's true. Some people told me that it looks like this actress. I can't remember the actress on this movie, The Fifth Element. Mija,
Mila Jovovich.
yeah. But the funny thing is, I never use any reference from real person. I never use reference from real person because if you do, you will probably copy the face features of those people. So I don't usually use. I just look for random pictures of people who, no one knows. And but anyway, maybe some of these were look kind of close to her. But anyway, so let's jump into the fun thing here, which is the Seabridge file. Let me close this and work here. And man, I love this opportunity so much because I can't remember if in the past anyone had the chance to show the actual 3D file. I mean, we always, of course, we always show the renders, and we are very careful to not show anything that it's not there it's not going to be there in the statue, because sometimes we have to adjust a couple things in production, of course, to make this possible. But in this case, is the guys at Sideshow say, Danny, let's do it, man, because I think it's awesome to have the chance to show you guys how these things look in ZBrush on the software we worked. So let me take a look to the chat. Congratulations. Hey, Claudio, how's it going, amigo? Claudio is, I hope you're enjoying your party. You just, I don't know, eat some cake and bring me some cake tomorrow, because I think I deserve it. Man, this is awesome. There's so many people here. We are, wow, 150 people. Let me. It's so hard because I have to read the comments and at the same time show things, and yeah, it's kind of complicated, but it's okay. So, well, let me show. If you see any, Fede, if you see any questions or anything in English or in Spanish, it doesn't matter. Just let me know.
There was one question I saw.
Okay.
They were asking if there are going to be more Bat Family statues in the future.
I'm sure we will do it. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we always are thinking in to make different characters of the same line, or maybe the same in this case the same family, because there are many of them. So of course I can't say anything, but the only thing I could say it is we are aware that you're looking for certain characters, and we always just we are here in the community. That's why we are here, just presenting these, because a couple times I heard, hey, it should be awesome to be to have the chance to see how it looks. I don't know, the Cedar file, or how I don't know how it looks, details more closely. So okay, here we are.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, a little bit of
the trick, like that show where the magician showed how the trick was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Masked magician, was it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, a couple of these new videos from the painters painting all the statues and how they do it are awesome. I mean, I'm memorizing every time they post any of those videos. I just keep watching it. I don't know if sculpting digital is as memorizing as these at these videos of people painting, the artists painting these statues, but I think we can do something interesting and show people how we can do certain details. But anyway, so let me show you. We are going to start with the face because it's the first thing we see. And today I saw a couple. Actually, I think I wrote a couple of questions I saw in some groups, in Facebook groups or Instagram or whatever. But I'm going to answer those later. But I think I remember someone asked if all these details here, let me zoom in a little bit more, are going to be in display in the final piece. And the real thing is, it doesn't matter how strong you go deep with these that's these details sometimes it's going to get loose in the production, but not just at Sideshow. Any company is a normal stage, as far as we are making the statues with the same process because it's the only process at the moment to make a mass production. So when you print it, all these intricate details are there, and maybe some of them they will get a little bit loose, in the transition, but that's normal. If I'm zooming this head here in my monitor, and it's almost a size of 1:1 scale. So it's obvious that when you put kind of the scale like this, I don't know how do you see it in. Well, it depends on if you're watching.
Those
Yeah,
details,
yeah,
the
it
details,
depends.
the battle damage. I love it. I love the battle damage.
Yeah,
There's
thank you.
someone asking in the comments
Sure.
if there was ever a question or discussion as to whether you would use Barbara Gordon or Stephanie Brown as the model for Batgirl.
Well,
There are 4 Batgirls in total in her
yeah,
history,
yeah,
but
yeah.
5.
Which
I think the most iconic one
could you
is
name?
Barbara Gordon.
It was five Batgirls.
Let me count. You have Betty Kane, the first one, Barbara Gordon, Cassandra Cain. There was Elena Bertinelli, Huntress, filled in her role for a short time. Then you have Cassandra Cain, and then Stephanie Brown, and then Barbara Gordon again.
Okay.
I think I'm not missing anyone. Maybe there's some other Batgirl I'm missing.
Didn't know. So 5. Wow. And yeah, she's the second one. But I think Barb is it was our choice because the connection with Gordon, and Batman, and all the characters. I think she's kind of I will not say the most well known, but at least to me, when you say Batgirl, I think in Barbara. I remember playing the Batman, the Arkham Knight, and watching her, as an Oracle, and I thought a couple of times to bring some of those, hints here, of things, but we sometimes we want to leave some of these hints for the next statues, maybe in the future things. But yeah, that's why Barbara, because it's I love the red hair. In terms of paint, it brings a lot of it pops up. No, it pop up, right? Pop up, and it's, I don't know. I think it's an interesting. It gives a, let's say, interesting color to the scene, right? Because she is wearing like a elements, and like a yellow elements, and have a yellow hair. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we can do something with that. We can think about it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, different color suit, different color hair. I don't know. If someone in the comments wants to see a variation, just let me know. And as I said before, many times, we always hear the community, but I particularly, I'm always try to hear all these comments and feedback from the audience, from the collectors, from artists, saying, hey, you should do this, you should do that, and okay, maybe in the future. I just have a huge list of characters and huge list of different things that people like it and they would love to see in the next statue. So yeah, leave it in the comments. 100%.
Yeah, someone is asking if you plan to make another female superhero villain in the future.
A villain?
You have your sights on any special character or anyone?
I'm planning to make more female, statues. 100%. Yeah, 100%. For sure. This one was a huge challenge to me. I'm not going to lie, because I'm used to do male characters, and I didn't want to, let's say, miss the opportunity to see what happened. Of course, I knew that I could do something decent. Otherwise, I would say I just leave to any other sculptor who sculpt better than me, females. But I didn't, you know, I try really hard to not make her like too masculine or too muscular. It was it's a thin line between making her look sexy and but fierce at the same time. And I think people like it. And I think the reception we had with this statue, it is being really, it's awesome. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I put my heart on it, of course, but I wasn't expecting that. I have to be honest. So I'm really, really happy. And that's a result of teamwork. We did a lot of, Ridger and Ian, they did a lot of paint overs in the face, and we tried couple options with the face features, and we wanted to portray a woman. How old is she? How old is Barb?
Sorry.
How old is she in the comics? It's like a
Well,
20,
in
20.
her classic appearance, she was in her mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we didn't want to go too young or too adult, too old, and I think that was something that it took some time. It is the eyes too big? Are the eyes, too small? And there's so many variables you have to take into account. So many things, and the face. Oh boy, I can't remember how much time, but even if I finish, let's say for example that I finished her face, I don't know, I went back to the face like a week after or 2 weeks after, and I changed it again a couple times. So it took me a lot of time. I can't remember how much time took me this statue, but it was a long process. It was a long process.
Throwing out some cool ideas in the comments, like they're saying maybe
really?
a Harley Quinn, maybe an Poison Ivy. Someone even said a Commissioner Gordon, as a companion piece.
That's cool. I haven't seen any Gordon statue, right?
I don't think there are.
No, that's true. No, but anyway, well, some of the, yeah, I saw some, not in this chat, but today I was taking a look to comments from other chats, and someone asked why so many bandages and how it's possible that she put all these bandages during the fight. And the thing is, sometimes when we sculpt stuff like this, we leave something for the imagination of the audience. We don't put explicit, let's say, content. For example, I prefer you to think what happened than just me telling everything to you. But if you want an answer about that, I can't remember his name, but this is like the aftermath of she defeating him. He is in agony, and then she just put all these bandages in the damaged areas, and then she just went up there, and that's the final image. And actually,
it's gonna be a round 2, I imagine. Like she was in the first fight.
Exactly.
She was not defeated, but really hurt, and then she came back for the rematch.
Exactly.
A round 2.
A round 2. Yeah, that's true. Could be that. Could be many things. This is not written in stone. So that's why it's. I remember I have a friend who's is a collector too, and then he told me, I don't care too much about what the artists think. I always, when I put my statues there, I think what is going on or what happened with the statue. It's like a basically just choose your story, choose your adventure. Do you remember that book?
Yeah.
I don't know if they in English in the US they have those type of books, but in Argentina we had a book in where you can choose your adventure. You have different pages, and it says, for example, if you want to take this path, just go to the page number 25, and then you go to page 25, and then there's a couple extra options. And that was amazing, because you can read the book many times and choose different path, and they will connect differently, and even the ending was different, and then it's like you choose the way that story is happening, and in the statues is kind of similar, I can have an idea, I can display an idea, I can sculpt something based on one of the ideas that I have, but then you could say, oh, I was thinking differently. That's fine. It's fair. It's fair enough.
You can extrapolate a story.
Exactly.
I love the pieces that have, like you find a new detail every time you see it, and you can like say, well, you got this crap like this and that, and fighting and so forth. I love it when there's so much attention to detail in pieces.
Yeah. Well, I put a lot of detail here. Details everywhere. I just I remember that I finished the entire suit. It was like a brand new, and then I spent I can't remember how much time, but a couple days saying, okay, now I'm going to, I don't know, take this section and then do some damage and see what happened and see how it looks, because I didn't want to make just damage everywhere and without any, let's say, visual control. Because if you can do a battle damage, you can, I don't know, break every single part. But it's not like it looks generic, I just wanted to bring some story, and for example, if it's something is I don't know, is more exposed, let's say, you're going to find more broken pieces or damage there. And you're not going to find some tearing up or damage in the armpits, because it's kind of weird, I mean, someone can punch in your armpit, that's fine, but it's probably you will receive more damage in all this section here than in the armpits, for example. Just an example.
I love that she's like she used everything, single item in her arsenal. Like everything she had. She threw everything she had at him.
Everything. Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything.
She gave it her all.
Yeah, I mean, it is a way. I remember we were talking about someone asked how she defeated him. It just with a crowbar, and then someone said, "Nah, it's impossible. It's kind of funny that she defeated with that crowbar, clay face."
That's a bat crowbar. That's
a bat crowbar. It's a special crowbar.
A special kind of crowbar.
It's an adamantium crowbar. It mixes another universe. No, the thing is about the crowbar. If people want to know why is there, what's the reference, and I remember that Fede told me a story of how was the Batman one of the fight defeated him with the electrocution, right? Something like that. What happened?
In the Batman animated series in the 90s.
Exactly. Could you tell me what happened there? Tell the audience.
Well, he was fighting Matt Hagen, the second Clayface, in the Batman animated series.
Mm-hmm.
He lured him into the like a monitor place with a lot of TV cameras and screens, and he started showing him all the different roles he interpreted. He was an actor, and this made Matt confused, and he started lashing out at Batman, and he accidentally hit a monitor, and he got electrocuted.
Mm-hmm.
He made it look like he was going to die, and I think I don't want to spoil it if anyone wants to see it again. The Batman animated series, it's like 30 years ago, but it's still worth a watch.
Yeah. That was a good idea that we took, so we just electrocute this guy, and then she came and she did the final blow, let's say. And there's a quick question there about the materials I use and all that I want to answer. But today I wrote a few words as an answer about the crowbar. And let me talk up a little bit about that, because just for people to know, the crowbar, I wrote this today, and maybe it makes sense for the people who doesn't understand what the crow was there. So the choice of a Batgirl holding a crowbar is a deliberate nod to the iconic and tragic history between the Joker and Batman. The crowbar is a subtle yet powerful symbol associated with the Joker's infamous assault on Jason Todd. Do you remember that he was beating really, really, really hard, brutally beating, that actually
The
led
death in
to
the family.
Todd's
Yeah.
exactly led to Todd's miss. So having Batgirl employing the same tool in a victorious context because she's on top of him, like saying I won. It not only showcases her triumph over adversity, but also serves as a symbolic reversal. Highlighting her resilience, and ability to turn the table on Joker's dark legacy. So that's kind of the idea of having that she didn't kill or she didn't defeat Clayface with a crowbar. So that's something. It's a symbol, that's connect all the what happened in the Bat family with Joker and things like that. So that's a connection. And one of the guys here in the comments asks, let me put the question. What is? Can you explain? Yeah, Matthew Matterson. Can you explain a little bit about the material choices, like how difference made from leather, etc. Sure, of course, man. Well, the idea of having different materials here was basically. Let me pull this. There you go. I want to bring some armor, some rigid structure that protects her from the battle, but at the same time, I wanted to make her be flexible, so she can really move. She does a couple great moves, as any Batman family. So that was the idea. And metal parts, it is just use it like in this section of the forearms. Let me zoom in, like right here, in these the blades here, and in the knuckles. You can see the knuckles in a better right here. It's not maybe not metal. It could be metal. Yeah, I mean it is a hard part. It's a hard section here, and then like the boots were designed like with a couple section of metal, like inner parts. When you have this Kevlar, how do you call the chaleco? The vest, the Kevlar vest, that it has some metal inside or Kevlar inside for protection. Well, this is something like this, for protection, like having these sections here that protect the boots from the flesh, of the
Like the veiled Batman, like from
exactly.
Dark Knight. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you will have some more fabric stuff right here. Actually, you can see the pressure of these belts, let's say. You can see here. There. And it is, I don't know if I answered your question, but it's basically to bring some, for example, this section here, the inner section is rubber, right? And there is not metal, but it's a kind of hard plastic, high impact plastic, or something like that. And there is a couple sections like these sections here in the shoulder, or maybe I think I put some in the section. Well, this is an appliance, so there's no more of this. And of course, the batty tubes or whatever they call is in the batty belt, multifunction
The utility belt.
What's the name?
The utility belt.
Utility belt. Yeah, I'm named the batty belt. And of course, I try to bring some like this buckle and all the elements like from the real world, you know. But all of these are designed from scratch. Every single piece here is fully sculpted and designed from scratch, just for you to know. And I think also the same guy asked, I don't know if it was the same guy. No, Lamarck art, Lamarck art. So I should send you a concept art as a guide, or is it entirely made by you or by your own ideas or creativity? Well, as I mentioned before, Rachel Long did the concept, did an amazing job with the concept, and then I took inspiration that concept. I mean, without losing the essence, of course. It's. I hope she can show. I will talk with Richard, so maybe he can show the concept. Maybe we have that chance to see his work on this statue, and then with the concept we receive are not model sheets, model sheet. How do you say sheet without saying shit? The model sheet. Well, people will understand. It's the model sheet is like a it's like something that you usually will find in the video games companies, in where you see the character really well done in 2D in terms of detail, and there's a couple of views. Well, we don't come with that. We only come with a concept, and that's the only thing we need, right? It is to know what is a general idea. It was kind of clayface. It was different. She was there. The pose was a little bit different too. But we always do that. You know, when we work with the concept, we just try to transfer the 2D art to the 3D mocap, and then we start working on it. And with the stage is just going past with the time, pass with the time, and then you refine every single time you go to a different stage. But Green Lantern, for example, one of the pieces I revealed a couple weeks ago, or 2 months ago, for example, I did that the entire thing. I mean, the concept, the original idea, and sculpt. So, but anyway, we always work as a team. It doesn't matter if we work with a concept or just it is just our idea. We work together. So it's basically the same. And any other question?
They're asking about the cape thickness, the cape itself.
Yeah. Well, the cape is we always do. I can't show this, but we always do something. How I can show this? Let me, for example, in the inner part, the inner section or the middle section is going to be thicker than the rest. So all the tips are a little bit less thick, slim, and then the cape is not going to break because the middle section is thicker, but you can't notice, except you just put some measurement tool, something like that. And we do the same thing with all the capes. It's just a technique. It's an old technique. But yeah, you're not going to have any issue with the cape at all. Actually, I do the cape exactly kind of the same technique like Batman or any other previous statues.
Is the cape like torn, or is it
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Like
yeah, let me show you. It is a little bit, as you can see, you're going to see later, I think. But it's just a little bit torn and damaged. It's not perfect, You have all these kind of denting places and things like that. So yeah, and actually in the seam lines here, you're going to notice some of the kind of rip. Yes.
You can even see the seam lines there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Let me any further battle damage to her portrait blood. Thank you. Well, The everyday collector asks, will there be any further battle damage to her portrait, like blood? Well, I think we discussed that in the past, and I don't know. I don't. I can't answer that question, unfortunately, because I don't know. But maybe this is something I can just bring to the table and to see if we can do something to that. And today,
There's a really interesting question
okay,
in the comments.
Okay, go on.
Someone's asking if the base does light up, or is it just that the paint will come out?
That's a good one. Well, today someone asked if this piece is going to have any swap outs, and the answer is no, because we think the piece is just complicated. Not complicated, but I mean it has tons of details everywhere, and but someone we're working on that you don't know yet, but I have the information and I have the approval to say this, that is going to be every single section that you see in the photos, like this light blue color, is electrocution that just is coming from inside, is going to be light up for LED lights. So like the patterns here in this section, like inside of
every
him,
single batterings will be light up.
No, I don't know if the batterings, because are a little bit like a tiny. We don't know if we can do it. We will try for sure. But all this section here, like the flesh, the clay face, I don't know if it's flesh or clay, because it's actually clay. But
clay,
let's say his flesh, all the illuminated sections here is going to be light up from the inside. So that's a feature that no one knows, and you're finding out right now. So that's, I think that's really
it's been
cool.
Electrocuted, or like
Electrocuted. Yeah, he's been electrocuted, exactly. And actually, now that I have this here, maybe people would recognize who is this the third face here. I want to see in the comments what you think. Who is this guy? I think it's pretty easy to know. I mean, to see zoom. Yeah, Mr. Kennedy. That's exactly. It's going to be some.
Oh, there we see. Someone was asking for a
yes,
Nightwing
sir.
statue. You have there the first Nightwing appearance in a premium format.
Yeah, there you go. You have Gordon, then you have Nightwing here. So
she really bashed his face off.
Oh yeah,
she was really angry at him. Clayface shouldn't have used Nightwing, you know.
Yeah. And well, there is a connection here from these characters, you know. I mean, why are there these characters connected to Barbara Gordon? Maybe you will have a better answer than me, Fede, about this.
Well, they have a very long story, you know, since the Silver Age. There's always been a romantic connection as friends, then as lovers. Then they even got married one time before the reboot, you know, and it's always been like a on and off thing, you know. They are very good together, working together. They were called even the Dynamite Duo on one occasion. And then so there's a thing about Nightwing, you know, that he's like a regular Casanova. So
yeah,
it's like an ongoing joke in the DC universe. So, you know, Babs is like, you know, she has this sort of, she's really in love with him, but, you know, it's a long story, yeah.
It's a long story, right? But it is a connection.
That's what I know. Yeah, that's what I was saying. If she had to bash his Clayface face in, you know, if she was using Nightwing, if he was having a bit of a lover's quarrel with him.
Yeah.
I mean, like a therapeutic session, or a therapeutic fight session.
Okay.
So for a psychiatrist, she would have just
oh man,
symbolically beat Nightwing.
Yeah, well, that's why we put there these three faces, and I think it's awesome to have the connection. I don't know, maybe it's the first appearance, but not the last one. So maybe in the future We don't know. As I said, the idea is to keep bringing characters to the Bat family, and we have a lot of in the list. I'm not saying that we're going to do it. I'm just saying that we hear you, and we have plenty of characters that we want to do, and I think it's good to have the chance to, you know, to see, to feel, to hear what community wants, and I think this is a good place to start.
Yeah. In the
And
comments, someone says that Ranger 7 says those are probably the top 3 men in her life that she loves.
exactly,
It's true. Her
exactly,
father, her mentor, and then her lover.
exactly, exactly. That's why, Clayface just shape shifted to those characters to confuse her and during the battle, and try to, uh, you know, just confuse her, and and they do something with that, and but it seems it didn't work for him.
It didn't work. No,
You
not
know,
really.
not really, right? I want to show you some of the gray, because this is the actual. You're seeing the painted version, black and white, and this is the actual. When I turn off the paint, you're seeing, guys, the gray. Let's say this is the just plain gray, exactly uh, how we see it when we sculpt it in ZBrush. But actually, in my case, I'm always painting during my process of sculpting, because it helped me to visualize how it's going to look like when it's done. But this is how a little bit of how the details looks, and as you can see, um, there are a few like I really push deep, like this, and in the forearms, so then you have better chance to don't lose those details in the final production. With Clayface is like a melted creature, so you're not going to see the kind of tiny details. I just put some subtle texture on it, like this clay thing, but it's more smooth. That was the actual idea. And one thing it's interesting that I found out when I was working on Clayface, it is, maybe someone noticed that I put some human look like teeth here and here in his mouth, and then these kind of creepy teeth, like a more it looks like a shark teeth, something like that. I took
Reminds me a
inspiration.
little of the movie the Thing, 1982
Yeah,
with Carl Russell.
exactly. Oh, I love that movie, man. One of the best
Yeah, one of the greatest
creature
horror
movie
movies of all time.
of all time, 100%. Well, I took some inspiration from many places, but I thought before looking for information about Clayface, I thought he always was a monster, just without no face, but he was a human, right, Fede?
He originally was, yeah, an actor.
An actor. So
Yeah.
for those who don't know the origins of Clayface, could you tell me just a little bit of who was it at the beginning,
Well,
and
the
how he
thing
turned
is,
into Clayface?
Danny. Sorry, the thing is,
Sure.
there are 8 Clayface in total, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like complicated. But there are 2, the big ones, the first and the second, that are Basil Carlo, who
Yeah.
was an actor. He was one of the first Batman villains from
Wow.
1940. And he was inspired in the classic horror movies actor Boris Karloff, the one who played Frankenstein and the Mummy. That amazing thing that was in the original black and white movies,
Yeah.
the way he was changed his face, to appear like a monster or a mummy or Frankenstein. So that was the first thing. His first story, he didn't have any real powers. He was just an actor who had gone crazy because they were remaking one of his movies, The Terror. Yeah. Then you have the second Clayface, who was Matt Hagen. That was the most known one, from the Batman animated series. He was the Clayface in that series.
Yeah.
Who was in the original comic story. He was just, this man who who found a cave, like a secret cave with a pool full of protoplasmic fluid or something like that. He, submerged there, and he
Yeah.
emerged with his body completely transformed. He could transform into anything. He could transform into another person, an eagle, anything. So he started,
Oh, really?
committing crimes.
That's interesting, dude. So it was 8.
Yeah, but then, after retcon and retcon and retcon and
Yeah.
reboot and reboot and reboot, you have now the Clayface, the actual, the Clayface, how you say, the modern Clayface, who is Basil Carter again.
Yeah, the most well known, let's say.
Yeah, with his with the powers of Hagen. There's a
Okay.
2023 story where they tell his story again, like they retcon his story to make it more similar to the one in the Batman animated series, in which it's kind of funny because they try to make him a good guy. He
Oh, really?
he becomes part of the Bat family for a while. Then he decides to stop fighting Batman and goes to Hollywood to try his luck, to reignite his acting career.
Yeah.
It's like a revival for the character.
Oh man, it's kind of awesome to have so many possibilities with different characters.
But
When they took, I mean, so many comics out there. It is so many
yeah,
storylines.
well, the
Story
animated
arcs.
series, I grew up with the animated series, and it did some characters who were like secondary or left behind or forgotten a great favor. My favorite one was Mr. Freeze. He was just like
Yeah.
a secondary character, a joke, and then they took him and they turned him into this tragic story, a tragic character. That he's trying to avenge his dead wife, or well, that was the original. And then you have Clayface, who has this. He's a failed actor. His best days have gone behind. He has an accident.
Yeah.
And then he has to use a cosmetic, like a drug, that turned his scar face back to his previous original face. Then he becomes addicted to it. There's an analogy to the drug use and everything, and then he overdoses on it because someone makes him overdose. And then he, you have this fascinating thing about making these silly characters into tragic and tragic, how would you say them, tragic characters that you can empathize with.
Okay. Yeah.
That you feel pity for them.
Yeah.
For Clayface, for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so many things you can play with it. It is awesome. Here we have
Someone says in the comments, Timothy Mike Paralis, that's why Batman has the best villains, all tragic stories. Yeah, I agree, man.
Yeah, that's true, man. Batman. That's why people always ask me, "Hey, what's your favorite? Is Marvel or DC?" Well, I love both, but it's like a DC, dude. They have, amazing villains. I mean, Joker. Come on. Yeah, man. This Sick Mansion Collect was here. Hey, hello, dude. How's it going? Hello, my brother. Great job on your first film at pace. Thank you so much, man. Thank you to all people here. Felicidades, Danny, and thank you guys. Really, thank you so much. There is a couple questions here which are cool. Did you use real person as reference? Ask Zayjan. No, I've never used a real person. I mean, I use real people. Not let me say it again. I use real person. I don't use actors as a reference. Well-known actors as a reference. That's what I was trying to say. Because if not, it's kind of they would look like an actor, and this is not a movie. This is just a comic thing. And Dark Ranger 7 asks, he asks, Daniel, how was she in difficult? She was difficult to compare to male sculpts. Yeah, it was extremely difficult actually. It was a huge challenge to me. I never did it. I mean, I did in the past at the beginning when I was studying anatomy and practicing. I did a couple female, I don't know, torsos and actually long time ago when I was working in advertising, different other other fields. I did couple females, but it wasn't something like I enjoy it, and that's what I just stopped doing it. And then when I don't know exactly, I don't know why I said it's time to make a female. Uh, Maybe the main answer could be because when I saw the concept, I just ignited something in on me that I said maybe this is the time. And I think I was looking for a challenge, and oh boy, yeah, it was a huge challenge. Everything is it was difficult in terms of the pose, the anatomy, the proportions. I didn't want just to make a real body, like a female body with like a real human proportions. I mean, she has real human proportions, but it's not like a real like you guys see it in person. It has comic proportions. As you can see, for example, the legs are a little bit longer than usual, or compared with the female. And I don't know, the ankles are like smaller, and to emphasize more the curves of the legs, and I don't know, maybe the curvature of the body, of the pose are a little bit exaggerated, just to emphasize curves. And it was challenging because I didn't want to make her just sexy and that's it. No, I want to make her look like a warrior, and without just that feminine side. I wanted to portray everything, even in her face, on her face too. So yeah, it was a huge challenge, but I think I enjoyed this so much that I think you can see that, because I put a lot of hours, and actually even the hair, for example, I usually sculpt the hair differently. And then for this one, I said, okay, I don't want to make a hair with single strands I always do, all tiny strands everywhere, like tiny hairs everywhere. And I went for this more classic sculpting, classic hair sculpted, which I think it works pretty good. At least to me, it works good. So yeah, it was challenging, but it was super funny, super fun, super fun, and funny. Well, not that funny, but fun. Yeah, it was a lot. Well, guys, we are an hour about live streaming. I think we show a lot of stuff. I don't know if there's anyone who have um, how much did you take to make her? Adrian Alejandro Molina asks how much time. I don't know. I can't remember honestly. I can't. But I think it took a couple months. Of course, like a three for sure. 4. I think 4 months. Maybe a little bit more. I don't think so, but 4 months for sure. Because there are two characters. I mean, maybe people are watching this statue and saying, "Oh, yeah, this is Batgirl," and then Clayface. No, no, no. It is. I mean, it's half a character, or maybe one third of a character there, but it's it's you have to pay attention to not just do something for the base, which is a supporting structure. It's not a supporting structure. It is an entire character down there. It's telling a story, you know, and that's what I think is the best, maybe best selling point of this statue. Which every single statue we do, it tells story. It tells story, but there are many things going on here, and there is so much connections to her story and these characters, like as we mentioned before, these three guys in the base, like a agonizing, like he is doing, and there is so many things going on that I think is just more than a character and a base. So I hope you can see that as I do. Bookfang asks, is the mesh you are showing the decimated mesh before print I think so. I think it's the mesh, the decimated mesh. Let me check. Um, mm, yeah, yeah, it is the decimated mesh. Sometimes I don't decimate. For example, the helmet is not decimated because I probably I try to decimate it and I lose some details. And when I lose details, I just leave it like it is. And sometimes if you have like a plain surfaces with big details, it's not going to happen anything if you decimate it. And so you prefer to decimate, so you lose some points. I mean, some points, some um, the mesh counted, the count mesh. It is if it's too high, it's not going to be able to send it to the print. So yeah, it depends. It depends. Maybe another question. If you see any question, Fed, that you would like to answer, just let me know.
Okay.
Why Batman has a bit of villains? Okay.
Now, someone mentioned a good character to make as well, Harley Quinn
I'm sorry. The
from
what?
Batman universe.
Could you say it again? Because I was reading. I'm sorry. Question.
Yeah, they mentioned a good character to make from the Batman universe. Harley Quinn.
Harley
You
Quinn.
already made
Yeah.
the Joker, so
Yeah,
you need the
that's
Harley
true.
Quinn to make
That's
the
true.
companion
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, companion piece. That would be a good one too. Yeah, there are many. There are many amazing characters of the DC universe, of the Batman family. It's not a family, but it is the same line. Let's say. Yeah, that would be another option too. Yeah, I have a huge list of characters that people always just throw to me, and I just put in there. Of course, I can't do all of them, but I always, when we have our meetings of okay, which character you would like to make this time, it is okay. I have this list, so
Can
he's
I can
always
I throw a personal favorite? Can I
of
throw a
course,
personal favorite?
of course,
Red
do
Hood.
it.
Red Hood.
Okay,
Jason
okay,
Todd.
good.
Please.
Love it. I love it. Love it. Love Jason Todd. Yeah, yeah. That would be a good one. And there was something that I think either of Jim Rap, I think it's called I'm afraid to but there was Tasteful Food. Well, thanks, man. Yes, I just wanted to um, again like do exaggerate because of I wanted to exaggerate. No, I just wanted to bring her some curves, and you can see her, and you are going to see her. You want to see that better when you have it in person. That it's a female character, so it's there. Um, well, I think we're good. Fede, we show everything. I would like to to say to the people that thank you because I've seen so much love for this character, for this piece in particular, and having me making a female sculpt. It's awesome. First, to Sasha gave me that chance to prove myself if I was good enough to do it, and I think I have a lot to learn, of course, to keep polishing, and that's why we are artists because we learn all the time and we practice and we study and we keep trying to do our best every single time. But I think I have to thank the community because of the support in every single level, not just as my person. It is as me as an artist and as a person. So I have to say thank you a million times because your support is so let's say so motivating for me. It is that spark that sometimes we lose because we are humans, and it doesn't matter if you love your work. Sometimes you will be just, oh, this is another work, it's another job. And I know it's not. I have a huge privilege to work at Sideshow, to work in this thing that I love a lot, and actually can feed my family doing what I love, which is awesome. and to come with the community, with this community, with the feedback from the community, with all the messages, kind messages. And as I always say, guys, if you there is something you don't like about the strategies we do or I do, just send me a message and just tell me what things you don't like and what things you suggest to change in the future. Because if the statue is done, of course, I can't go back in time and make it happen. But what I can do is to take into account and to put those in those feedbacks in the next statues. I'm flexible and I'm open to receive your comments. And I've been working for this many years at Sideshow, almost 8, and since I started sculpting, like more than 10 for sure. And I always have the same thing in my mind. I keep the same thing thought, which is I'm doing this for you guys. So if I'm not just hitting the mark, just let me know. It's as simple as that. But anyway, I would like to thank you, Fede, for being here for tonight. Today, I just sent a message to Fede and say, "Hey, dude, I want to make a live streaming. Do you have some time?" And he said, "Of course, Danny. I always have time." And I'm just
my pleasure, Danny. My pleasure. Thank you.
It was a pleasure, dude. It was a huge pleasure to come with your assistance always and your knowledge. And
anytime, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you again. I will.
Thank you.
I would like to sing my regards to Claudio. He couldn't be here tonight, but my friend, you are part of this family, this Sideshow family too. So congratulations, you recently posted that. And if you don't know Claudio, you will know really soon his work. A big hugs to Jorgito Villar, which is another Sideshow guy, and of course to my dear friend Martin Canale, who was my mentor. He is still being my mentor because I always receive his feedback, and he's generous, and we are friends, and everyone, of course, at Sideshow. I named a couple people there, but all of them are awesome. I would like to express my gratitude, of course, to Tom, Greg, Anna, Matt Bishop, and Ricky Lopez, and all the people inside there. Just make my job so easy to not just do, to enjoy. I really love what I do, and I think it's not just because of the sake I love it. It is because of the environment I work is so good. Maybe from outside it's hard to see it, it's hard to feel it, but let me tell you, it is true. So thank you again, community. Thank you for the love you just showed me for Batgirl. Just it is ready for pre-order, and don't miss this opportunity, because I don't know, maybe tomorrow is not there anymore. I don't know, but anyway, it was just a joke. But thank you guys for real, and let me bring the camera. I know it is there. Okay, so again, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Fede. Big hugs to the entire community. And I just want to say a couple words in Spanish, because we have a huge Spanish community here. Muchas gracias, amigos, por siempre bancarme en cada cosa que hacemos. Claudito no está acá, pero les mando un gran abrazo. Gracias, Fede, de nuevo. Gracias a toda la comunidad de escultores. Por favor, amigos, de escultores, de artistas, de coleccionistas de Argentina y de Latinoamérica. Y bueno, obviamente me quedo, y con esto quiero cerrar. Estamos haciendo, and then I'm going to say the same thing in English. Estamos haciendo la DynaFest, que se va a celebrar el 17 de febrero aquí en Argentina, en Buenos Aires. Es un evento que, bueno, va a reunir a muchos artistas y muchas personas amantes del arte de todo tipo, para celebrar justamente la comunidad y que siga creciendo. So I just want to say that for those who don't know, I'm making my first event with my friend Claudio, my friend and a colleague Claudio. It is in Argentina. It's going to be in Buenos Aires. Is a festival. It's a celebration of the art we do as an artist, as a digital artist. But we are bringing people from all around the world. We are bringing people from different fields of the art. For example, I don't know, 2D painters, muralists, and sculptor in traditional sculptor, digital sculptors. Everyone who loves art, and we are making this celebration in February. So we're going to live streaming that too. It's called DynaFest, and it's the first one, but not the last one. It's going to be every single year, and Sideshow is supporting us a lot. So thank you, Sideshow, for being a partner and sponsor of the DynaFest. Really, really, I really appreciate that effort and support. And I think that's it. I don't want to worry anymore. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and well,